Joining us now here for a conversation at the 2025 NAFB Convention in Kansas City, Missouri. Always good to talk with my friend Caleb Ragland, the president of the American Soybean Association from Kentucky. Caleb, good to see you, sir. How are you?
Doing good. Good to see you, Jesse. Good to be here.
How did harvest wrap up for you? You mentioned just got done a few days ago there in Kentucky.
Yeah, we wound up Monday evening and pulled everything in the barn, and it was raining within an hour, I think, of when we wound up. So that was cutting it close, but we were sure glad to cross the finish line. It's been a challenging year on many fronts.
Yeah. Yields, okay? How did things shape up there?
Okay, it's a good word. We were a bit below APH on both corn and soybeans, but considering the extreme weather events that we've had, both record wet and near record dry in the late summer, I'm very thankful for the yields that we had.
Well, good to hear. Well, as you mentioned and alluded to, there's no shortage of items impacting agriculture and the soybean industry. Let's start with the trade conversation, as we've obviously been seeing updates and frameworks and agreements and deals and, everything under the sun. Oh my, here we go. China, of course, is the big conversation. Your thoughts on what we have seen? We've started to get some of these flash sales in. Obviously, we got to get these delivered now. We've got a bit of a price rally in futures, which is a good thing. I mean, what's your take on where things stand with U.S.-China relations?
Well, I think we have a long ways to go. There's still a lot of uncertainty. You can call that agreement what you want, but the truth is it's a framework. There's not a huge amount of enforcement ability to it, but it's a very positive step from where we were. Being at zero was very harsh. So we have seen good movement. It's a start. We have a long ways to go, but it's also good seeing some flash sales. But when we really can celebrate is when we have those soybeans being delivered and we have cash on the barrelhead. That's a lot surer thing than where we're at currently. And, we've seen that 12 billion metric ton number. I think the confirmed sales total about 10% of that right now, and it's the third week of November. We've got a long ways to go in a short time to get there here in the next 6 weeks or so. So hopefully we can really ramp that up and hopefully see some more rally in the prices. Because, let's face it, while the rally is good, it's much needed. But many of our farmers had already been forced to sell as they harvested through fall. And that number is where we're at currently is still not profitable. And that's what I want to really drive home. Due to our cost of production now, which are at record highs, the number that we have to shoot for in our budgets and so forth is higher than it's ever been because our cost structure is higher.
Yeah. Well, and I think about that. And I know you've recently been on Capitol Hill to testify about fertilizer and input prices and the cost of production and more. And I know that the Senate and the House, they're starting to really take a look at this and take a look at some of the issues that are plaguing the overall farm economy that are out there. And so what are you hearing as you have been part of those testimonies and sideline conversations? I mean, how is this whole conversation shaping up right now on Capitol Hill?
Well, I think that certainly it was a wonderful opportunity that Senator Grassley arranged there to have that hearing, to bring some awareness. I think it shows there's a lot of work to be done. We had our hearing. We've just submitted our written comments answering the questions that were made by the committee members and so forth. But I think that we have raised some awareness. I've seen discussion of that far and wide in the media, and we want to keep that on the forefront because there's a lot of work to be done there and a lot of things to dig into. And I'm not a law expert. ASA is not a law expert, but we think there's a lot of things that really need to be looked at with making sure we have good competition, making sure that there's not barriers that are taking the very limited number of competitors and raising their cost structure. I mean, there's a lot of raw material that comes in, whether it be in fertilizer, whether it's components of the pesticides we use, that we cannot get in this country. And when there's a very limited number of players in the market for the finished product, a very limited number of players that can source those components, it's not a good shake for the end user of those products. So,
I think one positive we have seen in recent days is, potash and phosphate were both added to the critical minerals list.
Yes.
I think, that's one little nugget of hope, I guess. That's a good thing to see that there.
Absolutely. And, I have described the cost structure as kind of death by 1,000 cuts, because it's a little here, a little there, all over.
And it adds up.
And it does. And it'll be the same way with things like you mentioned with the critical minerals list having the potash and phosphates added. That will help. We need lots more moves like that, and that can all add up and make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking about going into next year as well, obviously we still got to get the rest of the farm bill done. We need those certain updates there. There's been talk about bridge payments and all sorts of things and everything else. I mean, but looking ahead, enforcing trade, getting a farm bill done, I have to think, and looking at input prices, I have to think those are kind of the things that are top of mind for ASA, right?
Yes, certainly. We want the American soybean farmer to have a bright future and have opportunity. And that all starts with having a level playing field. We must be able to compete with our largest competitors in South America, in Brazil and Argentina. That means that we need to make sure that there's not any tariff barriers that are making us uncompetitive. It means we need to make sure that when it comes to technologies that we're paying similar costs for those, and give the American farmer a level playing field, the opportunity to compete. We're going to win. We have the best farmers in the world. We have a lot of neat things that help us have competitive advantages. I mean, look at the Mississippi River that splits open the heartland of soybean country, and all the tributaries that flow into that. That is a competitive advantage. We need to make sure we are using that to the best of our advantage. We need to make sure that that infrastructure is getting updated. We need to make sure that we have farm programs that are farmer friendly, farmer focused. You mentioned a bridge payment. There is significant losses that the American soybean farmer has incurred due to this trade war. We're not out just looking for some type of a handout or looking for government aid. But the reality is that we had an opportunity taken away from us, and it led to major financial losses for our producers. And there's many operations that need a financial bridge to literally bridge that gaping hole in their finances in order to stay in business. There's many operations right now that are so far in the red that they won't be in business in 2026 if they don't have something to plug that financial hole. And it's our goal to see our farmers have opportunities moving forward. We want to see opportunities for the next generation to come back to the farm. And we want that future to be bright enough that the incentive is there, that people want to, that there's not retiring farmers that are encouraging their kids or grandkids not to come back to the farm. And we need a next generation coming on, and we don't need a loss of a generation of farmers like happened during the farm crisis of the 80s. And as a medium-aged farmer, I'm 39. I'm thinking about my own operation. I have 2 teenage sons and 1 10-year-old son. And for long, we need to have plans in place if they want to be on the farm. And I think they have interest. But it certainly is not an easy time right now. And I think farmers are very optimistic historically. I've seen a lot of negativity in farmers right now. I've seen a lot of fear. I've seen a lot of just very much negativity, and that concerns me. The mental state of many farmers is tough. There is there's a lot of embarrassment that's associated with economic failure within our industry, and there's some that will make very terrible choices to take their own life and so forth due to these harsh economic times. And we don't want to see that. We want to see our farmers have opportunity, have a bright future. And I would encourage everybody, check on your neighbors, stay in touch, be a good friend, because tough times can be survived, but we need each other. We need to work together, and do think that the future will be brighter. And these tough times will be remembered, something we can look back on and, say we made it through. It's not, but if it's easy, everybody do it. But, we'll make it. But I can assure all of our farmers that ASA is working tirelessly behind the scenes to push policy that will make the future brighter for the soybean industry.
It's an excellent point to wrap up on. I couldn't agree more. Make sure you check on your neighbors, and I've met your boys too at Farm Progress. I think they're going to follow in Dad's footsteps. I got that impression anyway. I think they're definitely gearing up for that, and we appreciate the work you do, Caleb. And it's always good to have a conversation with you, sir. Thanks for joining us here at Trade Talk, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it.